All right, you're good. Go.
Yo, what up, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Life and Time Podcast. Let me introduce myself. My name is Willie, aka Beast Boy. And I got my co-host with me tonight, Wiz. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Wiz.
What up, folks? It's WizFiasCole, aka Wiz, aka Wizard. Why? Because you cannot fathom the wizardry. So go ahead and get mad. Call me a camel, but guess what? I mastered the drought, and I'm here with my other co-host. I guess you could call him that. Is Hardhead. Say what's up, bruh.
What's going on, everybody? You already know who it is. It's the Warden, Hardhead, the most hated in all of fucking Crumpside. It's like, nah, it ain't like that.
And then I got my other member over here, Sir Prodijay. Say what's good, bruh.
Oh, hey, man. It's your friendly neighborhood gaming prodigy. I'm doing okay. It's good to be on. I haven't been on in a while. I actually haven't made, especially in the beginning, I haven't been on in a while, so it's good to be on.
And then I've also got special guest here. Oh no, all the haters and all the fucking console fanboys are gonna get mad now. It's a PC fanboy podcast right now, bro.
Is that what it is now?
Yes, we got Alex. Oh no, say what's up, man.
What's up, everybody? It's OhNoItsAlex, part of the Press Start podcast. I think I'm the most hated member of Press Start.
Oh wow, the most hated.
Yeah, so that's a pretty common theme around here. It looks like so.
It's
Some people just don't like opinions, Alex.
People just don't like the right opinion, I guess. I don't know.
Hey, fit right in. You fit right in with us.
Finally, last but not least, we got the undiscredited, undisputed, true Xbox fan that's not really an Xbox fan because he's not an Xbox fan boy. Jed,
what's up,
77.
Yo, what's up? It's Jed7780 from Planet Xbox. Yep, I'm here to lay down the law, but I agree. People don't like real opinions.
And that's exactly why I got you two as the guest today, because our buddy, our good pal, me and Willie's good friend, Mr. Nobody, he is a customer service guy who works for Microsoft.
Boo!
Stop hating, sir. Calm down. We got an Xbox guy here. He'll tell you the fuck off. But
X-Bone. You got an X-Bone on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. X-Bone. You're not Xbox, X-Bone.
I want some free months of Xbox Live.
Boo!
Too bad we
What
don't
did
play
you do
that
for
shit
that?
around here, man. I'm
hold on,
sorry.
bro. Hold on, bro. Did you get a free month of PlayStation Plus, bro?
Yes, I
Yeah,
did.
if you got some
Oh, yeah, I
PlayStation
take one of
Plus,
those,
that'll
too.
be nice.
Yes, I did.
No, PlayStation Plus. Last I heard, PlayStation Plus took your girl and killed your mom.
Yeah, but
PlayStation
hey,
Plus.
see what happened was the reason they took my girl to kill my mom because I got a free PlayStation Plus for a month.
So that's how it goes now. PlayStation over here taking your soul, bro.
Yes.
They bricking with Rainbow Six Siege and they taking your soul and your money. I
Yeah.
see that's how you're doing it.
Yes.
Anyway,
Well, they. Oh,
shut up.
you
Anyway,
shut up.
basically, Mr. Nobody was telling us how he's been getting a lot of influx and phone calls in the last few weeks over this whole 2K situation. That's going to be like the main topic of our discussion, but we're going to kind of warm up to it right now. So I'll run through the topics real quick. My fucking notepad with all my notes and stuff. The first topic is what happened. You know, we all talk and chit chat about shit. They were having a great ass discussion about sports and wrestling and shit like that. So, you know, we're going to just chit chat for a little bit and then we're going to go into our Netflix recommendations where you talk about what movies or what shows you're watching or hell, what book are you reading. I'm reading A Story of Ice and Fire right now.
That's a great book.
I'm fucking reading this thick ass fucking Clash of the Kings. This shit.
You're
I'm
only
only
on
5
Clash of
pages.
Kings?
God damn it, this book is thick as hell. And I
You
think
have a lot to finish if you're only on Clash of Kings.
I'm fucking. How many pages do I got left? I can't even tell. There's no number on the page. They just gave up number on the page. It's like almost 1,000 pages, and I'm on page 5. I'm still stuck on describing the guy's fucking eyebrows in the moonlight.
Yeah.
God, I get it. He's old.
Clash of
Wait, you
Kings
said
is
Netflix?
the second book.
Yeah,
You said Netflix recommendation?
yeah. We can put that as part of the recommendation as well. And third topic is the future of gaming. You know, how is the generation looking so far? And I have my own theories on the generation and attitudes of people. And then the fourth topic is microtransactions. That's what we're going to get in the main topic of it, talking about this 2K situation. And then we can talk about this Tomb Raider trail if we want to. We can talk about it now. I don't care. It looks
Wait,
crap.
the Tomb Raider thing from a month ago?
The
New
trailer.
trail for the movie, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that shit. Oh, yeah. You mean long neck giraffe, bitch?
Ah.
Well, we can talk about it now. We don't.
Hold up. Before we talk about that, best tag team of the ever.
Wait, best tag
Degeneration
team
X.
ever?
Don't even. It's not even arguable.
Wrestling tag
Degeneration
team?
X. Simple as that.
That's a good choice.
Brothers of Destruction.
They're more of a stable, right?
Nev said Clifford pipe down. Who's
As
Clifford?
you say,
Best
Degeneration
tag
X
team
tag
ever?
team. There was Road Dogg, Billy Gunn.
Yeah.
And then there was
The Dudley
X-Pac.
brothers.
The Dudleys.
Oh.
Yeah. Those,
You know, I'm
Hold on.
definitely most
Rikishi,
decorated.
Sky Too High, and Grandmaster Sensei.
Dog.
So when I
Too
say that,
cool.
I'm gonna have to go with the New Day.
New Day?
Yeah,
Wow.
What?
yeah.
What
I don't
man?
know about that. That's kind
Give
of
them
No.
respect.
I really have to go
It's
with
just
the
right
New
now
Day.
with the Usos,
So-
man. They really selling that hell in the cell with them.
So the New Day is one of those tag teams that, first of all, is the longest reigning tag team champs of all time. So they've
Oh
broken all
my
the
God.
records.
Ah.
Second of
Oh
all,
my god.
Xavier Woods is one of the funniest motherfuckers.
Yeah,
Ever.
I don't think
So
he
is
do
Big E.
talk. He barely wrestled though.
So
That's
Barely.
so cool though.
no, but he wrestles
He's
a lot though. He wrestles every now and then too. And
I
also,
I understand that,
Kofi Kingston has the absolute best saves in the Royal Rumble every single year.
yeah, he do. Yeah,
so,
he
and
do.
so when, not only that, when they were heels, they were fucking awesome. Then they became faces, and they're still fucking awesome. And they also have a really great entrance theme. So
New.
Yeah.
Who's the big
I have to
fat
say
guy?
it's the
I
New Day.
don't know who he is. Who's the
Life
fat
and
guy?
Time podcast. Don't you dare be sour. Come out for your longest reigning two-time champions and
How am I? Wait,
feel
one second.
the power.
How am I pandering to the black audience when I'm Cuban?
Oh, shit.
How does that even happen?
And you know what, Alex? You're wrong. The best tag team ever that barely ever held a title is Kane and Undertaker.
The Brothers of
yes,
Destruction.
Kaden. Thank you,
Nah,
Hardhead.
yeah,
Yes.
I think it's only that way because of the Undertaker. Like Kane.
No.
Wait, are you?
What about Legion of Doom, man?
Oh.
Legion of Doom.
Oh,
The
no,
only
no.
reason the Brothers of Destruction were really big were because
No,
of
you're
the
not
Undertaker.
gonna sit here and
You're a
disrespect
little
Kane like
disrespectful,
that.
Alex. I don't know, bro.
You know what I think? I think Kane and Daniel Bryan were a better tag team than that.
Team Hell No? Hell no.
I don't know,
Alex.
Alex. I thought you was cool, brother, but you're being disrespectful to Kane and the Undertaker right now.
Yes.
I thought you was cool.
The thing is, it seems cool in theory, but when you look at it, like how they wrestled and what they did, it was Undertaker rolling the show. Let's be honest.
What's his
No.
Okay,
When they
you know
came
what?
out, when they entered, yes, Undertaker came out first. But when he did his little hand thing, his move, man, it blew the whole crowd.
Look, if you really want to do that, then you go
So
with the Brood.
You're telling me you weren't feeling those
dude.
moments when both of them would be knocked out, and it would be last man standing, and both of them would do that sit up shit.
Yes. Now that shit right there.
Did you guys ever go back and watch like some of the old Undertaker fights where they had like gray Undertaker versus purple Undertaker?
Yes, I remember that.
Yes.
And like
Well, that was the
like
switch.
that was
They-
fucking
they-
crazy.
Didn't they say like there's like some sort of like legend that's when they switched Undertakers? Like it was like the switch.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
apparently like the Undertaker that was the fake Undertaker actually became the real Undertaker.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Yeah.
that's like the rumor that's like been going, but I think that's just bullshit.
Some urban
Mark
legend.
Calloway has been wrestling since the beginning.
WWE rumors.
So can we talk about real sports? Like, what about this John
damn.
Jones versus Brock Lesnar thing?
Wait, if you're gonna bring up sports and the
Jones.
first thing you say is this John Jones shit instead of talking about the NFL?
Okay, fine. What do you want to talk about? How Trump called the players' sons of
No, I want to talk about the fact that they all waited until after Kaepernick got fired to try to do something.
Yeah.
He got fired? I just thought they just didn't hire him.
He didn't get
Nobody
picked up.
wanted that drama, right?
The way I see it, he got fired. They say he opted out of his contract. I feel like he got fired in that situation.
He pretty much got blackballed. Like, yo, fuck off.
Well, Chip Kelly did ruin every team, like the fucking Mothman. He just ruined every team that he went to. So he destroyed the Eagles and then destroyed the 49ers. He just gets rid of everybody. So,
Yo, how
That's
come
like-
we made it to a team? Yo,
What? Chip Kelly destroyed it. He was a horrible coach.
damn.
So I do not do politics at all. But I will say this. Colin Kaepernick is not a good quarterback. He won one game last year by 1 point against the Rams. And I think the problem with Kaepernick wasn't what he was doing. I think the problem with Kaepernick was he's not good enough to deal with the drama that was part of the 49ers and what he was doing. So it's kind of, it reminds me a lot of like Tim Tebow. You know, like all the dramas and bullshit surrounding Tim Tebow, and then, okay, you got to let you go. Like, you're not worth the drama that is surrounding you. I think that is what happened.
Thing with
So if he was
don't-
like,
receivers and shit,
honestly, like
Theo.
politics aside, Kaepernick is not a good enough quarterback to warrant that kind of drama. It's not
So
like
if it was Tom Brady, it would be a different story.
if it was Tom Brady, it'd be a different story. You know, regardless of, I'm not putting skin color into this. I'm just putting on
it's about his
skills.
skill. Fuck that.
If it was Tom Brady doing this, it wouldn't be a problem because it's Tom fucking Brady and he's winning games, he's winning championships. It would,
who
like,
be
the amount of
stupid enough
bullshit
to get in his way?
compared to the amount of money that they would make and the amount of games they would win would be about even. The
so
difference
it's
is
like a
Kaepernick,
Kyrie Irving type situation. Like,
Tom Brady.
Kaepernick is not winning games. Exactly. So sorry. Like, I understand where you're coming from. I get it, but politics aside, you're not a good quarterback. Sit down.
yeah, we really wouldn't have heard his name until he like did the protest thing and plus his fucking afro.
Wait, nah.
Oh, God.
I was-
He just-
That fucking fro. Yeah,
so,
but now
I don't do politics. Sorry, but that's purely statistical wise and sports wise. That's the problem.
it's real, man. It's real. You know, we all just try to stimulate some good conversation and good talks and stuff. I was kind of
Roman
wondering.
Reigns just beat the Miz.
Yeah,
In
I'm
the
watching
what?
right now.
They are pushing these guys.
Roman
so
Reigns
much.
gonna beat everybody, dude.
It
I
sucks.
mean, it's not that unbelievable.
Stop it.
First of all, they need to take off the fucking vest from Roman Reigns. Stop
Yes.
protecting him.
Nobody's gonna shoot. You know, maybe it's bulletproof though, because they're afraid man's gonna shoot and don't like him.
All right.
No,
Like, beat
unless
him
he
up.
has massive amounts of gyno, like there's no need for him to wear the vest.
Well,
He
look.
has
look,
a
a
gyno,
Kevlar
like
vest.
The Rock had it.
Okay. So, do y'all watch boxing or UFC? Any combat sports?
I only watched that recent boxing match. With,
Yeah, I watched
With
that one.
Canelo and Triple G. What y'all think about that? Like, was it like rigged? Like some people say, was the judge just
Why don't you
trash?
just watch wrestling then if you're gonna watch a rigged sport?
Yeah, I mean, that's what boxing kind of is.
I heard that they
Yo, Wiz.
on a leave of
Wiz.
absence or something, right? They told her to leave.
Yeah.
Like she's
Excuse
not
me, gentlemen. Excuse me, gentlemen. Wiz, I'll be right back.
Oh, all right.
All right.
What you saying though, bruh?
I think they holy what the hell they're being the shit out of Roman Reigns. Anyway, sorry. They yeah, I thought they got rid of that judge. Like after that they told her, like to leave, something like that. Like she's not judging anymore matches.
I think they did because when
Yeah.
like you scored card 118, 110, it basically means that the dude won every single, you know, in Canelo's favor, he won every single, you know, round. And I watched it. It didn't go that way. Homie was like sitting on the rope, basically just chilling, thinking he's gonna pull off a rope a dope. And Triple G was like, "Nah, player, you ain't even hitting me. Let's battle." Like it wasn't like bad. His counter strategy wasn't bad. It's just your counter strategy only works if the guy doesn't like aggress and gets tired. I mean, it was a close fight, but I still would have gave it to Triple G.
Yeah, I heard that that's what it was, a draw. So but how did the judges score it? Did all three of them score it as the same score, or did one score
No.
it?
The one
How
judge
did it work?
scored at 118, 110 in Canelo's favor. The other judge scored at 115 or 114 in Triple G's favor. And then the last judge was a draw. The main thing is people have a problem with the 118, 110 score because it basically says that, you know, Canelo won every single round. And we all know that at least they took like 3 rounds each. Pretty much.
Well,
So
it
it was-
sucks that the matches end in a draw. That you know the guys do all that stuff, and you know then they end and it's a draw. You know you kind of like have a neutral, but you know games end in a tie and all that other stuff sometimes.
Yeah, it's like,
Soccer, they end the 0-0. Talk about that.
it's just fucking crazy. I just want to know what y'all thought about that. What do y'all think about this whole John Bones steroid shit?
Isn't everybody on steroids in that league?
I don't even in UFC, not really.
It's funny because they gave him a chance to get reinstated and he failed the second blood test. That shit was funny.
Oh yeah, talking about test B. I mean, the test B was pretty much he had a drug in him called Turinabol, and pretty much they take your pee in 2 samples and they test it before the match, and you get the results after, and they test it a second time if anything goes wrong. And so he was going to fail either the second time, and the Turinabol doesn't get found inside your blood; it gets found inside your piss. So that cheat motherfucker was done because he's like 20. He's like 30, I think. Like that dude was just so fucking skilled, and to take steroids, bro. Like, come on, fam. And now he tried to call out Brock Lesnar. Like, it's like, damn, man. It's like, I don't know. It hurts my heart. I thought John Jones was that dude. So now, and I thought Anderson Silva was that dude, but Anderson Silva looks like he's not gonna do it no more. So I don't even know who the fuck can be my main fighter anymore right now, bro. I don't even know. Y'all got any fighters y'all check out? Wait, oh man, you watch wrestling, but you don't watch UFC, bro.
Yeah, I don't like UFC. I think the problem with UFC for me is that it's too real.
Like, come on, dudes get fucked up to the point where they probably can't fight no more.
Yeah, like that's like that. Like, I have a thing where me personally, I don't like to see people literally get the shit beat out of them. You know what I mean? Like that. Like to me, that bothers me more than anything else. Like even like boxing, I can put up with because it's not like okay, like they'll stop the fight if it's too bad. But like UFC, especially in the beginning, was really fucking bad, and it reminds me of like.
Shit, that Pride fighting. You watch Pride? You used to watch that?
Yeah, that was real bad. And I was like, all right, look, it like even so like I don't know. I guess I have this thing where like I'm not a violent person, and I've done martial arts and I've done like crazy shit, but like I don't want to see nobody get the shit beat out of them. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I guess it's just me. I'd rather. I don't know. I'm weird.
Yeah,
everybody like wants it to be more real, and I'm like, no, keep it fake.
Yeah, I feel you 100%, man, because it'd be tragic to see your favorite fighter lose. Like it was tragic when I saw Anderson Silva get beat, like, and then he got knocked out, and it's like the dude dominated for like 30 years, pretty much winning nonstop, and then when he got knocked out, and it was even more tragic. His second rematch with the dude, he snapped his fucking leg, so it's like fuck.
Yeah, it's like, and Silva was one of my favorites too because you could see how like fluid he was in the octagon and everything like that. But you know, everybody like makes fun of, like a good example is people make fun of Floyd Mayweather because he can't read, right?
Yeah.
Well, the reason, like a big reason a lot of boxers can't read is because reading is done in your frontal lobe of your brain. The frontal lobe is in the front of your fucking head. And that shit gets beat the fuck out of every goddamn time you get punched in the face. So he could probably read. It's just fucking hard for him because he's.
Could he read beforehand though? Could he read before?
I don't know. I don't know.
He can read a little bit. I remember seeing a clip from Charlamagne the Guy making fun of him. He was trying to read something. I
know 50 Cent was like, if you can read a Dr. Seuss book, I'll give you like all this money or something.
Yeah. We have to
that's why he's that's why he became the best defensive fighter, because his whole family came from a line of boxing and shit. Even his dad, he sees the way they all talk, how they are. I mean, Floyd Mayweather speaks very intelligently, you know, and he carries himself, you know, like confidently and such.
I wouldn't say that. But
Damn.
He's not.
Let me tell you though, after the fight with what's his name, that he lost. McGregor. I was expecting Mayweather to say a lot of different shit, and he was a pretty stand-up fucking guy.
Yeah, because man, they finessed all y'all motherfuckers that paid for it, bro.
Yeah.
They was homeboys from the get-go. I knew that motherfucker was gonna beat that dude. Anybody could tell you. It was just white
supremacy. In my life, if I paid for one of his match, but
like, if you read the comment section of the videos, it was mainly just crazy white supremacist nutcases like, beat that N-word's butt, beat him.
Come on, really?
Yeah, they're stupid. I thought he was gonna win.
I was like,
but you know, people probably saying it because they were trying to be edgy and shit. Like, I'm so fucking edgy. Look at me. I'm gonna say a bad word on the internet. You know, like people.
I actually like
that shit now. You know, they just do it just to be fucking edgelords. Like, oh, I'm so fucking cool.
Pretty much, man. I like watched that fight, and I was just thinking this is gonna be a good combat sport, and people were just going in with the most toxic disdain and like calling McGregor racist. Okay, McGregor did have a little moment where he kind of did say some uncool shit where he was like, "Dance for me, boy, dance for me, come on, boy." He didn't mean it like that. I mean,
No, yeah, he didn't. Yeah, he's also like from Ireland, so it's different. There is a cultural difference.
exactly. Like
He
Ireland.
mentioned that. He mentioned that, I think, in an interview or something, where he said like it was that's just what he's used to doing from Ireland.
Yeah, it was after the match, and then he's like, "That's how I fight. I just bounce around." But
Yeah.
like a drunk fight. Like,
I gotta
that's
say,
exactly what I was walking around.
the suit was phenomenal.
Yes,
His
And
fucking
then-
suit was great.
Oh yeah, you know they're selling that thing.
that
Are they
fucking-
really?
Yeah, you could buy it.
That whole thing was popping circumstance.
Yeah, McGregor seems like a cool dude, but he needs to get fucked up by my boy Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz needs to choke him the fuck out like last time. I think he submitted him. He needs to put that bitch on the ground and then submit him again. Fuck McGregor. You're not beating Nate Diaz. You're not beating Floyd Mayweather. Get the fuck out of here, man. I'm sorry. Y'all backing the wrong people.
Cover of that EA UFC 2. Ever since that, it went downhill.
It did. It did.
What else? Curse.
What else we chat about? Oh yeah, the Kylie Jenner thing. You said something about Kylie Jenner, right? That little thought
I
pocket.
don't want to talk about
That little thought pocket.
Oh, a thought pocket?
She a thought pocket, bro. Like, look at her life. Like, anybody that emulates the whole socialite lifestyle of Kim Kardashian and
A
shit.
lot of girls do, sadly, man.
You know she's pregnant now, right?
Young, yeah, she's 19 and she's pregnant. Now, good for
She has
her.
her own makeup too.
Yeah, good for her. She got money and stuff, but it still doesn't stop you from being a thought pocket. You're one step above Tommy Lauren because you're not a bimbo, but you're still a little thought pocket. And at least you got some money in your pocket, and you got a rich black man as your baby's daddy.
Another sucker, another poor sucker.
It's Travis Parker. Wow, that motherfucker going to the sunken place.
Why would anybody date anyone in that family? They don't realize how crazy they all end up?
Yeah. You saw what happened to Kanye? You saw he's bigger now?
Yeah, Kanye got fat
Kind of
Kanye.
like what Erica Badu does to black people.
Ain't it? Look at my man Lamar Odom. Like, they got my two, like, I like their quality of their artwork they put out. Like Lamar Odom, I like the Lakers as a team. Lamar Odom was the sixth best man for like I think 2 years in a row, or like he won it 1 year, I think, and they won the championship. And I was like, Lamar Odom, you're that dude. And then he just fell the fuck off and started doing the cocaine and shit. And I was like, no, Kanye, probably one of my favorite all time, not just a rapper, a hip hop artist. Him and Kid Cudi and Lupe Fiasco. This dude gets with this broad. This dude's making fucking some drown out I'm sad music. He's going wailing on the fucking microphone.
Got mental health issues now.
What the fuck? That was Yeezus. He was wailing on the microphone with Yeezus, playing some rock shit. It was just, I was like, no, don't do it. Stay the fuck away. Get like Ray J. Back the fuck away.
Sunken place.
If you watch, I don't know if y'all watch Get Out, but those motherfuckers are in the sunken place.
No, I haven't. I heard it was good though. I haven't seen it yet.
That was a good movie.
Okay.
Whatever. Look, I just got my wife to watch fucking Trading Places, so figure that one out.
Is that the one with Ryan Reynolds?
What? You've never seen Trading Places?
It sounds familiar.
It's with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy. It's one of the best comedy movies of all time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Frozen orange juice? Really?
Because basically they wanted to get a black guy or like a homeless guy off the street, right, and make him like rich, and then
It's Eddie Murphy, and then he pretends to be like a legless veteran from Vietnam, and he's just in like a thing with his knees tucked away.
Dog, I gotta watch that movie again.
It was so good. That is like one of the best movies. That and Coming to America.
Oh yes.
And I'm also gonna say, what was another good movie that came out?
Nutty Professor one.
You know, Nutty Professor.
It was a good remake. Come on, you know it was a good remake.
Only one scene was good, and that's if you were really, really high, and that was a dinner table scene. Everything else was all right. It wasn't. Man, you know what? I would probably say that the scene with Dave Chappelle was really good too.
Oh my god.
That's because Dave Chappelle made that scene though, because he took off his hat and he was like, "Get that pile of doo-doo off your head." Like that was really good.
And then he headbutted Chappelle.
That was really good.
I saw Dave Chappelle before Half Baked. Yeah,
Half Baked is also a great movie.
Yeah, that was the first time I seen Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy's that dude. He says he retired, but he does like you don't see the main thing you notice is when people say they retire, it's so they can cover up their trash that they're doing right now. Because Eddie Murphy's done a couple of indie films that are garbage. I think Shadowboxer was one of them, and he says he's retired, but he does like one film every 2 years. I'm like, yeah, right, man. Okay, one more thing. One, as Jackie Chan's uncle says, one more thing. Speaking of movies, what do you guys think about Linda Hamilton returning to the Terminator franchise when James Cameron gets done with Avatar 2, 3, 4, 5, and the prequel?
Wait, what?
Wait, they're gonna keep doing Terminators?
Yes, they're gonna. James Cameron has got to do with his whole series of Avatar prequels and sequels, and then he says he's going to work on doing Terminator directly, the direct Terminator from Terminator 2. He's going to directly do a sequel to that one.
They should have stopped Terminator altogether.
So I have a very controversial opinion.
Okay.
I think Terminator 1 is better than Terminator 2.
I'm that's fine. I mean, that's completely fine.
That's fine.
Because Terminator 1 feels like it could really fucking happen. It is like gritty and fucking rough. And 2, I'm not downgrading how good 2 is. I'm saying,
yeah, I can see that. Well, they ended up
I just think 1 is just, yeah, like 2 gets really not really out there, but kind of out there. But 1 is like, that could really fucking happen. Like, you're like, holy shit. You know, like, it got real for a little bit.
Yeah. Not even that it comes back from the future, but the fact that a robot just goes rogue.
Yeah. Just fuck,
well, has a mission to kill somebody.
Right? 2 is really good because, like, being, like, 8 years old and watching 2 for the first time and being like, holy fuck.
Oh my
this
God,
liquid robot.
Yeah, seeing 2 robots fight.
As long as you didn't say it was shit. There's some people that want to be like, oh, it has so many plot holes. I'm like, bro, I could easily break down to you just
plot
like
holes. What about the new ones? My God.
Yeah, the new ones have plot holes. Terminator 2 have plot holes. Like, some people say, why did the Terminator, Liquid Terminator come? Like, they didn't do anything. It's like, no, they sent both Terminators at the same time. Like, there's a comic book in between, and it shows them sending back Kyle Reese. And they realize, oh, Jesus, they sent back another Terminator as well. We can see it in the fucking log. So they basically
the only cool thing was with the Terminator was that in Terminator 3 was at least they said Judgment Day could not be stopped. That was the only like coolest thing I think out of anything after Terminator 2.
Well, no, when Arnold was holding the casket.
Yeah,
that was a cool scene. That was the best scene in that movie.
Great, like some of the fighting and the action and stuff, but it was just a repeat of 2. It was just with a woman robot that had a female robot that had like she was sort of him, but also liquid metal. Like she was like everything.
Yeah, mix.
They can really weird. Like it was a decent action flick. It was decent. And
Salvation was terrible though.
Salvation was terrible.
So was Genesis. Yeah, that was really bad.
Genesis was
look. Okay, I'm gonna be controversial. I'm gonna be like Alex. I'm controversial. I sort of semi-liked Salvation.
Oh my God!
I would say at least Genesis.
Because I saw what they were trying to do with Salvation.
You're gonna tell me a 6-story robot cannot be heard coming a mile away?
Okay,
yes. He's gonna magically stop behind the shed.
I mean, did they hear Big O? Did they hear the Iron Giant? Exactly.
Look, I'm a big behind the scenes guy. Okay, I'm a big behind the scenes guy. I like to see what made the film. That's why I love Terminator 2 so much and Terminator 1 so much. But the main thing was with Salvation, they had a plan, and the studio was like, "Nah, that's too crazy." Because the main plan for Salvation was, at the end of the day, they were gonna be like, "Holy shit, John Connor died." But the robots were actually trying to bring humans over to this whole paradise they built from. That's what they're collecting humans.
That would have been like the most worst Matrix 3 ending movie of all time.
But I think Matrix 3, at least the humans were free and they had to fight.
Like, oh, Neo's really Jesus, you guys.
Wasn't the end of Salvation is when they gave the guy like the robot heart, like the heart transplant? It was like
he gave him a heart transplant because his heart was
Oz thing. Like the Iron guy got the heart. That was some bullshit. It was horrible. That was horrible. And then CGI Arnold at the end was the only cool thing, and because he was like not in the movies, and then CGI Arnold.
And that was a CGI Arnold. There wasn't even Arnold.
No, it wasn't. Because he was still like governor and still doing like he couldn't do the movies then.
Now here's the thing about Genesis. The reason why I was cool with Genesis and just was like let it ride is because, for one, everybody and their mom was watching the trailer. Even my mom watched the trailer, and I was like, don't watch the trailers. I already heard I already got when they were spoiling it. Every time I listen to one of my favorite movie podcasts, I skipped when they were talking about it. So I went into that movie straight fresh. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I loved the first 15 minutes. And then it kind of fell down, but I was still feeling it. You know? So I didn't expect John Connor to fucking, yes, spoilers alert. It's 3 years later.
And
I didn't
Billy
expect
Clark,
John-
good Linda Hamilton. That was a cool way of doing a young Linda Hamilton. Like she did look like her, and that could have been good. But the whole rest of it was a mess.
Yeah, the whole rest of it was a mess. I was
Oh
like,
my
yo,
goodness!
first
They threw
15
a liquid metal
fucked
guy
up
who was in the comp.
The "Come with me if you want to live." She kind of fucked that line up too.
Oh yeah, well they overused that thing a little.
Yeah, I think it would have been better if they would have just said, look, let's just go further back to the 70s, or like let's just redo Terminator 2 with Linda Hamilton and make it the whole movie and just say
Yeah,
fuck
they
it, you
did
know?
it. They're like he went back earlier, and then he was like he raised her or something like that, and
Yeah.
Something weird.
retarded. That was horrible.
I like if you haven't watched it, watch Blade Runner.
I gotta watch that because the sequel.
That movie.
Yeah, the
So
reboot.
I think I'm older than most of you guys here. But like when I was like 7, I saw that movie, and it blew my fucking mind. Watching it again in my 30s, I'm like, this is probably the best movie ever made. Like
I'm hearing
like
it's
it's
the best sci-fi film of all time, and
no, like movie, just film.
film.
It's a
It
big accusation, Alex.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing, though. Here's the thing, though, sir.
It
I
is
will have-
artsy, but like it is fucking, because it makes you fucking think. Like you're like, okay, so who's really a replicant? And it's like it is kind of that deal where it's like, who's really a person, who's not a person. Like if you ever watched Ghost in the Shell as an anime, or you watched Akira, or you got like gone in that stuff, then you'll really like Blade Runner. Like it's just one of those movies where you're just like, fuck yeah, like I get it.
I have to argue The Matrix, sir, as the greatest film, at least for me, the greatest film of all time. The Matrix.
Excuse me?
The Matrix. Sir. Yes.
The mate. Okay, no. First of all, you're also discounting Ferris Bueller's Day Off,
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
because that is probably one of the best movies ever made.
Okay, here's the thing about The
Scott
Matrix.
Pilgrim versus the World. Don't that?
That was good. But here's
No, I'm
the thing.
gonna add to you, that was not that good.
Point. Here's the thing about Scott Pilgrim the World and The Matrix. I wrote essays on those things, and I got A's on them, and I literally analyzed those movies. And I have to give the slight edge to The Matrix. There's so much about The Matrix, and the sequels completely fucking ruined that.
It did. It totally ruined it. Like you can tell that the Wachowski brothers, or the Wachowski brother sister now,
The Wachowski sisters.
she like, I don't know, whatever, man. Do what you got to do, I guess. You know, like they totally were not part of those sequels. They weren't even part of it. You can totally tell.
they
Everything,
kind of
from the
were.
design, the style, the whole nine.
The studio milked them. They basically said, "Yo, make us sequels," and they like didn't know what the hell to do after that.
Well, dude, they were making sequels. Then they had the Animatrix, which was honestly awesome. That
yeah,
was so
Matrix
good.
was incredible.
Then they had the
Great.
Matrix games at the same time. So it was
Yes.
like all of those things happening all together. So they didn't even touch the movies, which was crazy to me.
Yeah, they basically got like the concept and stuff, like some of the writing for it, but they were just basically part of the machine now once they had it out. Like the Matrix Reloaded could have been good. I like
Matrix
some
game was
parts.
pretty cool. Like it took like the two characters, and you play their part, what they were doing while like on the other side of the movie. So when you watch
yeah,
the movie
Niobe.
and that, you saw like what they were good doing, like what missions they were doing. So,
I love the hell out of Niobe. Niobe was my favorite character in the
yeah,
Matrix.
that's what he played in the game. That was pretty. And then she was
Yeah, she was cool.
Yeah,
Did
that was pretty.
did you know that she is the only person? Well, I guess you could count Morpheus, but he had help. But Niobe is the only person in the Matrix besides Neo to defeat an agent in hand-to-hand combat. Yes, she did. That's my girl Niobe, and she's the greatest pilot on the planet.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's fucking awesome. I love Niobe. But all right, we've been chatting about movies. We can go ahead and. Oh wait, we already gave our Netflix recommendations technically. So y'all got any other movies or TV shows I want to recommend?
Well, on the sci-fi thing, and Netflix is Black Mirror. I watch all those because a new season's coming out. Those are incredible.
Oh my god, I watched American Vandal. Do not watch it if you're not ready to be disappointed by the ending, because it doesn't have one.
The fuck? Okay, I'll have to check it out just to see. American.
Have any of you guys watched Black Mirror? You watched the Black
do.
Mirror?
I've seen some of them, but they're pretty good.
They're incredible. Yeah, they're great.
I'm gonna go with a classic. I'm gonna
Go
say
ahead, classic, go ahead.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh
Yes.
yes, That was hilarious.
That
That's-
show is oh
And
my
also,
goodness.
if you can, The League is also really good.
Yes, that
the
was
league.
great too.
Oh, I love the league. You talking about the old sports show? Shit,
Yeah. El
Yeah.
Cuñado.
that fucking show. FX has some good shows, some good comedy, man.
They got rid of the league. That was
it
great.
ended. It ended.
It ended.
It ended,
Yeah.
yeah,
They
it
should
it
keep
was
it.
good for
Oh
me.
no, they ended my favorite fucking show. I used to binge watch the fuck out of this.
What, the league?
Hell yeah.
It's a good show.
I like that. Yeah,
She-Ra.
How did they end it? They were getting support from NFL players and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the
Yeah.
writers were like, okay, it's over.
End it when you're on the top, bro. You got to end it when you're on the top, man.
It's like Sunny. Like right now, Sunny's on like 12 seasons.
Yeah.
ain't it? I love
Those,
it.
those guys can't stop, man. They're hilarious.
Those are like the worst people on earth. They're horrible.
But that's why it's such a great show.
That's
It is. I like
It's
dog.
like real life South Park.
I was about to say that too. You read my mind.
It's so good.
Read
So
my mind.
good. Like Dennis.
That's
is
right,
my
they'll never
favorite.
run out of content until those guys stop. Like they'll never run out of content. They'll
Did
just
you know
keep
that
going.
homie got fat? I
Yeah.
forgot
Oh.
his name.
Real.
Yeah, he got fat in real life just for
You know,
comedy.
he actually opened up a bar in Philly called Patty's Pub.
Yep.
What?
Yeah,
I love that show, man. I'm
it's
gonna
so
start.
good.
What's your favorite episode?
Got favorite episode?
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. I'm gonna have to say when Dennis gets a divorce. When he marries the cat lady for Marine
Oh my
Ponderosa.
god. Ponderosa.
Ponderosas.
Oh my god.
Mine is the high school reunion episode.
Oh yes, that is
Oh,
hilarious.
that's such a good one.
I did the one where they did
I
move
lied.
that.
It's the play episode. It's the play episode.
I like
Which
the one
play?
where
But
they
there's a ton of plays though, because they do the Dayman.
Yeah,
You
get
first see
Dayman.
Dayman.
Dayman. Ah, champion of the sun. Ah. Love it.
the one I like the one where they try to do the like to move that bus thing and they kidnap the Mexican people, the Spanish people, and they
Oh my
destroy
God.
that house and they go like it didn't work out like the show where they kind of
Yeah,
kidnap
move
people and they
that
fix up their
bus.
house
And
and
then fucking it's dumb.
move that bus.
I love that fucking show so
They
bad.
kidnapped them.
But
Oh.
one more thing. What am I watching? Oh yeah, I'm rewatching the Vampire Diaries. If anybody wants to get into the Vampire Diaries, just watch seasons 1 through 3. If you want to push your luck, seasons 1 through 4. After that, it just sucks. They're literally just hanging out. They're not
Yeah.
doing shit. I don't know if anyone else watched the Vampire Diaries. I like
I've
Vampire.
seen it. I've seen it. It was good in the first few seasons.
Yeah, and fuck all you haters. I was making fun of me and shit when I was talking about that on Jack Move shit. Because first off, saying Vampire Diaries is gay is like saying interview with a vampire is gay. It's like saying the
I
Lost
wouldn't go that
Boys is
far.
gay.
I don't
Yeah.
go that far.
No. I mean, the main point of those movies and stuff is basically vampires and living their life and shit. That's
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. I think this is the problem when you see all like the drama and the teenage love and everything. People get-
Hey man, that's just how it goes in life. What else? Okay, we can get to this topic. Let me hit Hardhead. His name's Hardhead. He likes hard questions. Hardhead, bro, I'm gonna hit you with a hard question, man. You ready for this, bruh? Is he awake? It's too late. You didn't answer in time.
Stupid.
Alex, we're gonna hit you with this hard question for Hardhead. Answer
All
for
right.
him.
All right.
Okay. So the future of gaming. What do you think the future of gaming is gonna go so far based off of this generation?
You ready?
I'm ready.
Tablets.
Oh shit. Alex, you might be my spiritual brother right now.
I think it's going to go like I think it's either going to go with if either Apple releases a fucking controller and it just goes to your TV and it's on your tablet.
Dog.
Like that's where I think it's going. I think Sony's gonna make their own fucking Switch thing. I think Microsoft is gonna move to like a Switch kind of device in the future, and it'll probably be streaming data where you don't even get to keep your games anymore. They'll probably all be on a tablet that you just
You follow my blog post
AirPlay
or
to your
something,
TV.
bro? You
Huh?
follow my blog post or something? You follow me on Throwdown Podcast or something, man? 'Cause
No, I look at the Switch. I look at what the Switch is doing. When you look at the Switch, what's the one thing it does better than Apple? It has controls.
yeah.
That's why phones suck for video games. That's why tablets suck for video games. They just took an
they're literally
iPad
removing
and
every
they
button
and they
possibly
slid
can.
controls onto it, and there you go.
I can't even answer now because you basically gave my point. I mean, I was gonna say the way that game's going with people being so complacent with gaming and microtransactions and so on and so forth. You don't even owe your. I had gotten to a friend who's like a big Street Fighter 5 guy. Like I think it was a couple months ago. He's like, man, that's why I don't want to be on PC like you because I can't handle that all digital. I'm like, well, you're one to talk. Your Street Fighter 5 is basically all digital.
Yeah,
they had to
and
put
the
together
thing is
your
with
games.
Steam though, so the direct argument to that is I get to keep my EXEs. The executable files that Steam gives me that I buy, I get to keep. And even if Steam ever goes down, I still have access to them unless they're fully online games like Counter-Strike. So regardless of whether or not it's all digital, you still keep your game completely, even the executable file and the install file.
Exactly, man.
So it doesn't really matter. Like, but at the same token, though, like I don't think TVs are going to be enough to push gaming. And I think this generation that is after me, they're used to watching all their media on an iPad on their own specific screen that has the resolution that is as good as a TV or sometimes better.
And do you like realize the reason why they keep pushing this whole 4K resolution type stuff? It's for the channels. They want to get you or the TV hooked to your channel. Because what's the point of owning a TV without cable and such, you know?
Cable doesn't do 4K though. They do 1080p.
Yeah, and there's no like that's why I don't have a 4K TV because there's no reason to have. There's no 4K content.
That's right.
And I'm not going to spend $40 on a 4K Blu-ray.
I feel you, but
those are a lot. They're a lot of money.
I can't go in on that because I might be a hypocrite because I'm sitting here on my 4K monitor right now, bro. So I can't.
Yeah, I have all 4K TVs, but again, there's not a lot of content.
A 4K monitor I think is different, but I wouldn't buy a 4K monitor until one hits like 144 frames per second.
I use a 4K TV as a 4K monitor.
Yeah, that's real because my monitor it's I got it for a lick, man, like a little over 400, and it's got 1 millisecond response time, 4K 60. If I can get a graphics card that can do that, and
you can do that on a 1070. You can do that on a 1060.
I got a 980 Ti right now. I'm saving.
Yeah, you're fine. You could run games at 4K 60. Will it be ultra settings? No. You'll have to turn down AA, but you don't need AA at 4K.
I gotta get like a fan. My room like gets really hot, and I've been noticing my shit gets hot, so I don't want to stress it out until I get like a.
When was the last time you cleaned your rig?
Like I want to say 2 months ago, because I leave my side panel off because I blow a fan on it.
Okay, but like, do you smoke? Okay, so that's why I quit smoking because I started cleaning out PCs that were in the houses of smokers, and it's like the worst fucking thing.
Ugh.
Yeah, so I probably like dust it out, huh?
Yeah, dust it out, like dust out the GPU, clean it up, see if anything comes out, and then try it again. You also might want to use MSI Afterburner, maybe increase the fan speed, see if that works.
Yeah, because I was playing Hellblade, and it was playing at 1440p 60, and I was like, oh shit, and then like it does it automatically. I didn't realize what the fuck. I would usually
play fine. I mean, as long as you're not hitting like 90 degrees Celsius or up, you're fine.
But it froze. It froze though. Like every time I played at 1440p 60 with Hellblade, it looked beautiful, but I could only play it for like 20 minutes before shit got pixelated, and then it just fucking froze, and I had to exit out the game.
So something's overheating then, or your power supply is not putting out enough juice.
I water cool my processor. I got a 6700K. I water cool it, so it ain't the processor; it's the graphics card. I
got a 2600K.
You got a what?
I got a 2600K.
Damn. And that's still
I got a 6-year-old CPU and I'm still fucking cranking games at 4K 60.
Sir, according to the Xbox fan base, bro, we'll never be able to achieve what the Xbox One X can do unless we spend $2,000.
But they have to understand that their big fucking argument was that it was 4K 60 uncompromised, and that's just fucking impossible.
I'm gonna give you the lowdown. Let me give you the lowdown. What's going on? 4K 60 is only going to be the few games that they have, like Forza, and maybe another game, but a game that's totally optimized from them. I do not believe you're going to see a third party go 4K native 60 frames per second at all on that system.
It's still going to be compromised.
Well, the thing is that this whole 4K in the console space is a different beast than what 4K means in the PC space. Both Sony and Microsoft have taken 4K and interpreted it as anything that uses a 4K buffer or anything that uses 4K assets is considered 4K, not necessarily the 4K native resolution. It's checkerboarding dynamic resolution. I don't understand how something dynamically hits 4K. You could clarify it. You could say it's 4K.
Yeah, because at some point it will hit that resolution.
Now, can I ask
so
y'all
then,
this real
then
quick?
and that's it. You're done. Like it's like okay, now we could.
It's
put
a very
4K
slick
on the
way of
box.
doing marketing, and that's really
It is. It's completely bullshit. And
Let me
and
ask y'all
the
this
thing
real
is,
quick. Did y'all watch Digital Foundry's video on Quantum Break?
yes, it's not hitting 4K.
Okay, I just want to know if a lot of people noticed that. If anyone doesn't believe us, it's literally in the first 30 seconds or 40 seconds of the video. They basically explicitly say that they're lying to you. I'm going that far out there to say this. They're lying to you.
I play Quantum Break in 4K with the 980 Ti, but not at 60 frames per second. You play like at 35 frames, maybe 40 if you turn off some stuff. But like, yeah, I played it at that, and that game still didn't look that great. It's just the art style of it. It's blurry.
I can't even play games at 60 anymore. Like it's got to be 120 or higher.
I'm gonna try to get
so that's the beauty of PC. You can play anything you want.
I have a BenQ 144 hertz monitor, and if I go below 144 frames, I get pissed because I can tell the difference.
I'm gonna get like you, man. I like as much as I like my 4K monitor. It's beautiful as hell with its 10-bit.
No. 1080p,
higher frame rates.
144 frames. It's frame rate over everything.
That's true. A lot of people don't get it.
And that whole frame rate over everything is not the narrative that's being taken on the console end.
Well, it's because
it's not a frame rate. It's all about resolution bumps.
The human eye can't see over 24 frames per second. You didn't know that?
And the TVs don't have those high refresh rates unless
the TVs don't have it, and they don't. They have so much other processing going on behind it that they don't want to allocate the resources to it.
Yeah. They're going for the TV markets where the console, the PC has the monitors, which always had higher resolutions and higher frequencies than the TVs.
Like I can't game on my TV because the input lag is just so bad.
It's fucking crazy the way gaming's going these days, man. People are just talking about these new consoles. It's like, but wait a minute, didn't y'all say like last generation you don't want to be on PC with the content upgrades? We're like 3 years in now.
4.
Oh, well, it won't officially be 4 years till November, but I get what you mean. Yeah, it's 4 years, but we're like 3 years in, and we basically had 2 iterations of.
So here you go. I'm sorry to cut you off. If you bought an OG Xbox for $500, then you bought an Xbox One S for $399, then you're buying an Xbox One X for $500. You just spent $1,400 in 3 years.
Exactly.
You could have just waited and gotten like a 1080 Ti. A fucking like 7700K. You could have gotten anything you wanted. Literally anything you wanted. You could have gotten a solid state drive, 32 gigs of RAM, a case, a copy of Windows 10 if you want to spend $100. Like a ridiculous.
You would have to deal with the Windows 8 debacle before you got to the Windows 10. 4 years ago.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys this. I think it's pretty obvious that who's having the better generation, and that's fucking Nintendo, because they can go. They're ruling the whole thing, bro. They're at the bottom. They're at the top. They're in the middle.
But it shows that resolution is not the winner of what people want. People want
it's
games. It's games, exactly. It's experiences in games, and also they have the portability factor that everybody always wanted. The dream of having some sort of console game type. On that
I sit with my wife. I'm sorry. Like my wife and I'll sleep on the. She'll fall asleep. I was playing Zelda in the bed next to her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't gotta go anywhere. I can just hang out. I don't have to be like in my office.
Alex, don't do it. You're gonna make me buy one.
What happened?
You're gonna make me buy one.
Get one.
You haven't bought a Switch yet?
The other thing
let me tell you something.
Talk about is having that extra controller. As stupid as it is that you give somebody that little thing to play with, the fact that you could have somebody play 2 players like on that little screen, if you just like in a bind, it is a pretty cool experience. That you
Here's the
have
thing.
2 controllers.
All I gotta tell you is, you can take Mario's hat, okay, and you can throw it on any enemy in Mario, and then they get a mustache.
This is the highlight of your Nintendo Switch experience. When you
you know what that skill is called?
What?
They're calling it capture.
Wow.
That's fucking perfect.
This is hilarious.
It's fucking great.
Hey man, rock with it, bro. People
round of applause for the originality in that.
If people rock with it, that's cool, man. That's cool. But people just I think the portability thing is cool, but people push it like way beyond its limits. They're thinking it's gonna make Skyrim the best version. They're thinking it's gonna make Doom the best version. It's like
it's not gonna be that
people.
version.
No, I would say best version. It'd be nice to play in a portable mode, like, oh, I can play Doom on the bus or whatever, or I can, like, what I would like about Skyrim on the handheld is that I wouldn't have to deal with the fucking Creation Club because it's never going to have online connectivity.
And here's another thing about the portability, why I don't like throw it up there with everyone that's like, yeah, this is it. It's because with the portability, I drive a car. I'm sorry, people. I'm a grown man. I drive a car, and when I go somewhere, I drive. I go on trips. I'm usually driving. Unless like me and my mother are going to visit my sister, which is like a good 5 to 6 hour drive.
Don't drive, man.
She's a daughter's truck driver, so she's always in charge of driving on trips. So I'll mainly just chill. So that's when I could really play it, but I don't get down like that on portables really. Like I tried back in my college days. I had a 3DS in my pocket with the freaking Switch.
I like to do it before, like as I'm laying down in bed. Like laying down in bed, going before you go to sleep, play some Switch, go to sleep. And I used to have an hour and a half commute on a bus every day, and that's why I bought the Switch. Yeah. That's why I bought it. Because I'm like, I'm gonna be in a commute every day, and I'm gonna run through the WWE Network real quick on my phone. So I need something else to entertain me with, and that was perfect. I bought Zelda, I bought the Switch. Next day on the commute, I was set. Not a problem.
Yeah, I don't experience heavy traffic like that. I mean, I can see it for like heavy traffic areas like New York or such, like Detroit, Motor City, like like Subway, like you play any place where you got to take the subway to do stuff like Japan. I can really see it succeeding in Japan, but I'm like, people blow this out of proportion, like in your house doing the portable thing, because you got to carry this thing. It's like the size of your body almost, and you got to carry it. Well, I mean, it's not massive, big as hell, but I mean,
it's the size of an iPad Air.
Like iPad Air, but you can do more things with an iPad.
I want to see what Sony's would look like. That would look so dope.
Everybody keeps teasing that they might announce a PSP. Like,
I don't want to. I mean, the PSP was lit. I love the PSP.
The thing is that they even though they're not developing anymore for that PSP, and like they're just having people just put games on there and they're porting them over, they still keep advertising that remote play as one of the big features of the PSP, that you can remote play the PlayStation.
The Vita?
On the Vita, yeah. I'm sorry, I keep saying PSP for Vita. They're all the same. Because that was the last thing I had was a PSP. I never had a Vita, but they keep putting remote play as an option in there, so they keep continuing that thing. You gotta expect that they might have some of the next generation.
It's really cool.
So we gave Nintendo their shine. Shout outs to Nintendo. We want you to succeed. I'm telling people already from the jump, even before this drop, I already knew they were gonna do the handheld thing. Financials, handheld's the most viable way to go. I already said it. The
3DS is what, 10 years old?
No, it's close. It's like 6, I think.
It's around there.
Yeah, it's 6. Yeah, pretty much. They were losing money for a while. People think they can keep losing money for years. They've been losing money for a while, folks. They just now are good with the Nintendo Switch, and I'm so happy for them, because did you know that they had to sell the Seattle Mariners and Pokemon? What was it the latest Pokemon Black and White or something? But the latest Pokemon game, that and selling the baseball team.
Not only the portability, but it's also their exclusives that they have that the new ones that are coming. I know the other ones, a lot of Wii U games that they ported over, but the new games that are coming. It's the exclusives, and exclusives matter. That's kind of where I feel like Xbox is just not, their exclusives now, they're spread across. They just want it on everything.
Yeah, that's
what I agree. So back to the original question about what the future is going to be. I feel, the future is going to be an app. Like, I think the games are going to be just like there's going to be your publishers, and you're going to have an app, and you're going to subscribe to a publisher or a platform holder like an Xbox or a Sony, and they're going to provide you games via the service on any device that you have, a computer, a TV, a tablet, and it'll be an app, and it'll be subscription based, so they don't have to worry about 2 million sales of a physical disc. They can just know that they're getting that money, $10, $15 a month from every subscriber, and they'll just be putting games on there. And I think that's going to be the future, but not right now. But I definitely think that's the future Microsoft wants. I know that, they want it. They just want to be a kind of just a service, the whole big blockbuster game thing. Really, they pulled back a lot of it, and they just have the Gears of War, the Forza and stuff like that. So. unless they have some new ones. But it just seems like they're going more service based. They want that subscription stuff going on.
Yeah. Okay. So we already gave Nintendo their props, so we're proud of them for doing their thing. Like I said, it's gonna be the next GameCube, man. It's gonna be the next GameCube. It might not sell phenomenally, but I think it's gonna do well. Now let's go to Xbox here, because you were just talking about Xbox, and you're saying like because I remember watching you, and I really want you to get on my show to elaborate your opinion, because I don't think Gamer Addict was getting what you were saying. What I put in the little the chat section, but I was saying essentially. I said Jez is thinking about the Xbox gamer.
Yeah,
and Gamer Addict is thinking about the Xbox brand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the thing is I think it's kind of challenging right now. And what I was saying on the podcast was that and we were talking about Phil Spencer's promotion and how Windows now is, well, he's executive president of gaming, not head of Xbox. Well, he's part of head of Xbox, but nobody's backfilling his position in. And what I was saying was that every decision that's going to be made moving forward is going to be to the benefit of gaming for Windows, not gaming for the Xbox console owner. Yeah. And the thing is with the 360 and stuff like that, there were decisions made to get specifically Sony people over to Xbox. How do we get them over here? And by that mentality, the Xbox gamer benefited from that by getting exclusive deals, by getting exclusive games, or games that the Xbox player would want to subscribe to their Xbox Live service. But now with this whole gaming, it's all about Windows 10, and that's kind of their baby. That's what they want to build up, that Windows Store, which that's an uphill battle because Steam is just dominating, and they should just merge with Steam rather than trying to create something new.
No, they're not going to merge with Steam.
They're never going to.
Oh, no.
Well, like
I think we will
something.
But think about it this way.
They want that Windows 10 store.
Don't think about it from like them competing with Steam, because they definitely are going to compete with Steam in some capacity. So when I think of what Microsoft can do as a publisher, right, and they have their storefront, they can say, we have Windows 10. The Xbox One brand has sold 35, 40 million units, something like that.
I don't think it's that high. Maybe it's like mid 30s, low 30s. Maybe.
I know PS4 was like 60 million, I think, around there. But so whatever amount of whatever Xbox One brand has sold, let's just say 40 million. Let's just go with that. Mm-hmm. So instead of saying, well, we're in second place compared to Sony, we sold 40 million, they can say you can put your game on the Xbox One, or you can put it on the Windows platform, to where it's going to get all 40 million Xbox One users and the billion Windows 10 users. So now you've increased your capacity of selling units across multiple sites and be able to sell it to so many more people compared to just one specific console or just the console in general.
Well,
I think that they're trying to fight.
Because there's might be some people that are confused. Basically, I'm just being clear for you guys. So basically what you're saying is, instead of focusing like their gaming resources and such and making their prime front of entertainment, the Xbox, they're making it Windows
in general
operating system.
Yes. And if you look at the Xbox One X in general, or the Xbox One, it's just a Windows platform. They're using UWP. Yep. It looks like a Windows.
Not that much, and that's the other thing. They've been talking about that UWP, and there's not a lot of adoption by the developers. Like, they're still trying to entice developers to do that thing. And they haven't gotten a lot of reception about it. Like,
they're gonna have to do something.
That's something. And the other thing is that the way the Xbox is built, the problem I have with it is that if they want to have breaking, and I said this on the podcast last week, was that if they want to break the walls down and have this whole like we're all one family, then why is an Xbox console owner paying $40 to $60 a year for Xbox Live? For what?
If they made that
online,
if they just got rid of that,
yeah, and they need to. They never addressed it. They have never addressed it. They always talk about you can play anywhere, but they don't tell you that you have to pay over here, but pay fee over here.
Because on PC you're not paying that.
No, I could play Gears of War right now on my PC with all my friends on Xbox, with a controller and everything for free.
Yep, and mic and everything. You can join parties and everything.
Mike, yeah, I go chat on my computer. I could chat on a Windows tablet if they're still around with without paying for Xbox Live.
Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense to have to pay. And I
They never bring it
I
up.
got
And
an argument
Xbox fans
with
need
them.
to address it. They need to go to say, thank you, Phil, for all this great stuff, but why am I paying still, Phil? Why?
Yeah.
Instead of loving them online and Taco Bell, and all this other stuff, I'm annoyed is that nobody's saying, why am I paying if you're putting all my stuff over on Windows? Those guys are paying for free. And I said this on the podcast. I feel like the Xbox console owner is a sucker.
Maybe that's
Paying
the
for the
only
ROM.
I wouldn't
question
even
that
say
they
just the
have
Xbox.
left.
I would think it's just a console owner.
Well,
I mean, you're
understand
paying online for Sony as well.
Yeah, but the thing is that they're not offering their services for free on another system. Like you gotta.
No, they're not. I mean, that's
Yeah.
true. You have a point
ridiculous.
there, but you're
Like,
still
playing
paying.
Gears
Like,
of War
to
for
me,
free.
you're paying for online, and I already pay $100 a month for internet. I don't have to give you another 60 a year to have peer-to-peer connectivity.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I was like, well, if you're paying for online and they try to throw in the games with gold on Windows, like they give you some free games. But now that game subscription that they have for $10 a month is actually a better deal. If you want to pay, subscribe to get games, you're getting over 100 games. And I was calculating it out. Like you're gonna pay $60 or $40 or $50 for 2 games, Xbox, and 2 games 360 and 2 Xbox One games for a year. It's not. It doesn't add up. And we can get 100 right now for $10 a month. So like they're paying for online. You're paying for the servers that they're making everybody else use. And on top of that, now they keep wanting to like tease Sony for this crossplay stuff, saying that Nintendo's jumping on and all this. Now Nintendo's jumping onto Microsoft servers for Minecraft. So is iPad users, and everybody is using these servers. That the only people paying for those servers is an Xbox console owner.
Okay,
So
can I ask you this? Like, what at the end of the day, what do you find more? Because people keep saying this. I've been on consoles and like straight owning a console wise, and like since the last generation. But people keep pressing this fallacy around saying, "Oh, the Xbox Live is better, PlayStation Network's better." I'm like, they're both doing the exact same thing, letting you play your games. Like,
last gen that was
service.
True. This
like,
gen not.
Like, help me understand, like, what makes Xbox Live or a PlayStation Network or Nintendo Online better per se?
Well, last gen that was true. Like the Xbox 360 had party systems, party chat. The PlayStation 3 didn't, and Nintendo had nothing.
It was like a RAM issue, wasn't it, with the PS3? Something about not having.
No, it was just I don't even know what the hell it was, but
I think it was licensing issue. Like they probably have it.
It was just their software wasn't their mentality at that time, or the people that had in charge just didn't implement it. It was the same network. I don't know. They just didn't have it, and it was definitely I could tell you because I kind of went through the same situation. I had the 360 from launch, and then eventually I got a PlayStation 3. And on PlayStation 3, I did not like it because it was totally different than the 360. Now this generation, I had the Xbox One. I got a PlayStation 4, and I'm like happy. It's actually more like the 360 than the Xbox One is. And they got party chat, they got streaming, they got share play, and a lot of features that I'm surprised Xbox never even implemented. And I'm very impressed with how the PlayStation runs. I don't have a problem with it, and I think they're more on equal grounds than anything this gen. Nintendo,
I'm still waiting for a price drop on them.
Competition is good.
What on the online subscriptions or just
on the PS4?
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I was impressed, and that was the thing. Like I followed all the Xbox stuff. I was a total Xbox, loved it. I got the PlayStation 4, and it was sort of like, I'm like, whoa, this is not what everybody's saying. Everybody's saying like all this horrible stuff. I'm like, it's not that bad. Like it's actually somewhat better, I think. And Microsoft changing the dashboard every 2 years. Every year they're changing the dashboard. It's annoying. Rather than adding features to the thing, they're just moving my shit around.
And what really gets me angry though is that you're paying $60 a year and you're still getting ads on the dashboard.
Yes, and you know what's funny? Right before this podcast, I had my Xbox and my PlayStation both like in the 2 different inputs. I was switching, looking at the different home screens, and Xbox still on the new dashboard. They have 2 ads. They're advertising a controller, and
Doritos is the other one.
Green controller, and they're advertising Xbox Live. I'm like, I'm a subscriber of Gold. Why are you advertising Gold? I don't need to buy Gold. If I was a silver person, please send me that advertisement. But I am a subscriber. I should not see that there. Instead, I should have a list of what parties my friends are in so I could join them or jump into a game. that they're in. And unfortunately, they still have ads on the front screen. As soon as you show up on the main screen, even the new dashboard, they have it. And that was just the one. That was just the one thing. I didn't like that they still have the ads on it. And and the PlayStation doesn't have the ads. They just show you where the your friends are and stuff like that. But you're right. You're paying for that subscription. They're still showing your ads. But you know what? You pay subscriptions for Hulu. You still have commercials. Even you pay commercial free. There's some things you can't do. Ads is a very tricky thing.
Okay.
It's just Hulu though. The rest of them aren't.
I know. Yeah, Netflix don't show you ads. Hey, you know what? WWE does ads in their thing, but they're on for their own network though.
Okay, so we pretty much talk about the software aspect of it. I want to talk about one more thing. I feel like Xbox is the main thing that really has a lot more potential than, yes, I've said it, PlayStation. Like, and more than Nintendo, but they're the ones beefing it the hardest right now. And I want to talk about this because they have so much. Like, this is the first thing that after the Kinect, we didn't even talk about the Kinect.
I don't know.
Power thing. What the fuck say hello? What? Oh. Okay, anyway, the main thing about the power thing was the cloud. What?
The cloud?
Okay.
Was it? Oh.
Yeah, the cloud. Pretty much, I was looking at some stuff on the cloud, trying to see like what the hell they're doing with it so far. They look like they might be just using it for like free purposes for everyone to use. But I did find this one concrete evidence of pretty much they did a test with the thing called, I forgot what this game, They Came From Space thing. Like, because we haven't heard that much about the cloud. Like, people kept talking about the cloud, hyping it up. It even started some controversy and people not being cool with each other. And all it did was end up embarrassing the Xbox fan base. And I don't know, like, what do y'all think of the cloud? Or do y'all like know any other information before I read this?
No, the cloud, it was definitely a narrative that they used early on, and I think it was also to try to address some of the power narrative that was going on, trying to say that they could offset calculations, and they did utilize it in some aspects in the first Titanfall, where the AI was running some offline cloud routine, but it's not equivalent to running a graphics card. Like, it's basically for calculations and processing. But again, in the infrastructures that are going on right now in the world, just with people's access to internet, I don't think the cloud as a kind of like a computational thing will be something that will be well suited for all the different environments and different types of internet that people have. Like, I think you even see, even with Crackdown, that was the next big thing that was supposed to be the cloud. And you could see how they kind of split it up, and they made a point of it where they just showed the single player and that the multiplayer is going to be its own thing because that thing's using the cloud, which I think might be setting that up for some trouble because of it's two different developers. It's like two different types of mindsets. And it might not be a cohesive like single player and multiplayer. It might be just this kind of disaster of a game. It already has negative connotation to it already. But the cloud, I think, is still there. They use their Azure servers. I think they're just using them in different ways. But I don't think the way they're going to use it in gaming is really going to apply right now. I think it's more of just this kind of, I think it's more for just this whole where you have an account and you sort of go anywhere and your account goes with you and the things that you have, that's still the cloud. Like, technically, like a Gmail, like, your Google, you log into any type of Chrome browser and log in. All your settings in there and all your stuff is there. Like, that's technically the cloud.
Yeah.
But the cloud, what they were doing and talking about calculations and stuff, like, it's still not implemented. I don't know what games are going to be using it except for Crackdown in the future.
Yeah. So pretty much how it goes with Microsoft, you like follow the Xbox brand. They seem to just kind of, I don't want to like try to trash them, but it's like they jump on like what's hot. They're like the young guy trying to.
Yeah, it's been frustrating. I can tell you. You could right hear the frustrations that have been coming out on the podcast. It's like, I am frustrated because, and the thing is because I listened to them. Like last year when they announced the Scorpio and the Xbox One S, and he's like, "We're gonna support high fidelity VR." I'm like, "Oh my!" And they're selling the Vive, and they're selling the other, they're selling the Oculus in their Windows store. I went out and bought a Vive. I'm like, "Oh, the Xbox Scorpio is gonna support it." Bill said it. We're gonna support high fidelity VR. There's only 2 on the market right now. Well, this year. They're not doing anything. Oh, that's a PC.
What happened to that? Like, everybody. I mean, I was hyped for that.
VR, that's why. They just try to poke their nose into saying VR was coming out, and they were just trying to stay relevant. Meanwhile, it was a switcheroo.
I
Then
don't even
now
like
this year
Xbox, but
they're
I was
not
hyped
ready.
for that.
Yeah, and then the other thing is the and then now then they go, oh, HDR and 4K upscaling. The Xbox S does 4K upscaling. Well, now you're talking about 4K upscaling and 4K textures and resolution, but you don't mention that the Xbox One S last year, that was the big thing. I went out and bought 4K HDR TV because you said that the Xbox S is upscaling the game's better. It's not. I knew it was no native. I knew it wasn't powerful enough to do any of that stuff, but it was using the higher HDMI port, and it was actually, and it had HDR, which not many games are having. Some more. So again, not many games are supporting it, but that narrative was going on, and they made sure to say that their Scorpio was more powerful than the PlayStation 4 Pro. Now, and again, they kind of just went to that way. Now this year it's a whole different narrative. Now it's all 4K and HDR and the S is, it's like, well, if you can't afford that, we got the S for you. But the thing is my challenge that I have, the frustrating thing is that they keep saying that the Xbox One X is the best place to play. And I'm like, but what does that make the Xbox One S? It's consistently the lowest resolution, or if you're going to play the resolution game, you got to remember you got a dog in the show that is not up to speed. So if somebody's like talking about the X and you're talking 4Ks and resolutions and all this other stuff, they're going to say $500. Nah, what's this other one for $250 or $300? And they're going to be like, well, that's the worst out of everybody. That
Yeah.
one that has a UHD player, but it's less powerful than the PlayStation 4 Slim. That's the same price, and then the Pro is right in the middle. So like that, they pointed out their weakest point that they had was that the S wasn't the strongest console, and it still isn't, and it's not going to change anytime unless they get rid of it. So
Yeah.
them focusing on resolution in the X, they kind of just like, don't look behind the curtain, don't look at that S, just
I
don't look at it.
100% agree. The main problem with this, we are too far in to be focusing on pixel count right now.
Yeah, the games. That's
People already seen the greatness go. It's too late to try to dazzle them now, because at the end of the day, you're gonna be arguing about increments and numbers.
yeah.
So this whole Xbox One X thing, it just is gonna. The PS4 Pro, I don't think the PS4 really worked out the way we wanted. And like when I heard people getting impressed about it, it was mainly from the frame rates. They're like, oh shit, I can fucking run Rainbow Six Siege at 100 something frames or 200 frames or something like that, they said.
Yeah.
So I'm not seeing it with this Xbox One X. And the cloud
It's still not
computing
frame rate.
thing,
No, in the
let me
cloud.
read this article. This article says some shit about they advertise to have infinite compute. What the fuck? I can't even find where the hell it at.
Well,
says
no, I know exactly what you're talking
computational power.
about.
I was just like, what? How do you have infinite computational power?
And
Like-
as Alex could tell you, it is all gobble. Like PC talk, like this whole thing that spilled over into the console space, this all PC kind of mumbo jumbo stuff has spilled into the console space. And the problem is that you as the end user cannot control it. So what does it matter if somebody says there's thousands of teraflops when you cannot put those teraflops to what you want? Instead, the developer is going to decide at 30 frames per second, I'm going to make this sharper for you. So the thing is that I don't care how much power is in there because I don't have access to it. I have to wait for somebody to tell me how they're going to use the power that I'm paying for. So that's why I'm going to wait and see with the Xbox One X, because I don't believe that devs are going to utilize the power because they still got to develop for the S. So there's going to be very few increments. They're not going to make a game 120 frames per second on the X and make it 30 frames per second on the S. That you can't do that. Shannon Loftus of Microsoft Studios was like, you'll be a fool to have a game faster on one system. They're a family. You cannot have one running faster than the other. And
Just like the PS4 and PS4 Pro situation.
there's no frame rate there. I have a Slim and a Pro, and I got an Xbox One S. I had the Xbox original one. They have not changed you cannot change frame rate. There might be and only they would allow frame rate changes is if it's in a single player game, where if it's a 4K 30, because they're not going to do 4K 60 most of the time. you could drop it to a 1080p 60. Now they did say the Rise of the Tomb Raider is going to have that option with the Xbox One X, so you'll be able to run 1080p 60, which you're not going to be able to on the S. So the thing is that it's a crapshoot. And if you're a PlayStation 4 Pro owner, you're going to have to subscribe to the Reddit page that has a beautiful chart that tells you what games do what, because everybody does it differently. And it's annoying. And it's going to be annoying for the X too, because you're going to have one developer, there's going to be that one game that's like, I'm not using all this power, I don't care. And the other one's going to be like, oh yeah, well, we're making 4 different options for you guys. And that variation is going to frustrate gamers, because console gamers don't need that. They don't want that. They just want a game to play. They don't want all that stuff. That's the PC stuff. Because I tell you, as a PC gamer as well, it is annoying when you sit there and you see all the options and you know you can't do Ultra. It annoys me. You know, you're sitting there going, shit, I wish I could just make this maxed out and just play the game. Instead, you know, you're looking at it like, oh, that Ultra's just sitting there. I can't use it because it makes my frame rate drop. Like, it's annoying, you know.
Yeah, so like even with like Ultra settings though, like not, to be honest, it's never optimized for Ultra. It's always optimized.
Of course,
for
I'm using Ultra as an example, but there are settings that sometimes PC games have that it's just the cap of your graphics card. You can't.
Yeah,
you can't
they're
hit it.
there. You know,
they're there to entice you.
It's like, but who gives a shit, right? But like the first thing I do whenever I get a PC game is I go to the options and I turn off depth of field, I increase field of view, and I turn off film grain because it looks like shit.
Yep.
You know, it's
but like, that's nice that you can do that. But like,
but honestly, like I think consoles need that option though. I think now more than ever they need those.
Now
options.
that they're selling this power thing, and now they made that PC, those options that you mentioned, part of the console world, they're going to have to give those options because
you're not going to be able to like adjust like AA and shit inside of a console. But I think saying 1080p 60, 4K 30, 1080 30. You know, whatever, and be like, okay, here's what it does. Go pick 3, and you go.
Yeah, and some games have that stuff.
Sorry.
Go.
Pretty much what they're doing with the cloud computing, from what I'm reading from this article, is they're trying to use it for VR. Like they're just jumping on every single thing that's been thrown out right now. Like one thing I don't like about Microsoft following them nailed perfectly a couple of minutes ago when you're talking about how it's frustrating to follow them and know what the hell they're doing. It's almost as frustrating as Sony, because at least when Sony does it, they'll bring it out and then they'll just stop supporting, like the PS Vita and shit, or their fucking VR. They'll bring it out and then it'll do its thing and people will actually feel it, and then they'll just they'll just leave it alone. So just have something like they had, like you said, the VR. They have the VR talk going, and I'm reading this article. It's saying now they want to use the freaking cloud for VR stuff now. And then they're saying something about cloud computing and AI. They're just throwing their hands at the fucking wind trying to get a shot, bro. It's like having 5 hands.
Gentlemen, I'm going to bed.
This motherfucker, he hates Xbox. We get it, sir.
Yeah, I should talk to y'all later.
I think the best thing that what the PlayStation does is that they just don't talk. Like they just go along the business and they don't talk and anything like that. But the thing that Sony has that is the frustrating part of this whole thing is that they are addressing their console users, because that's kind of all they have, and that's probably that's keeping the lights on. But they are giving the people they're giving the fans what they want. That's why you see crying in crowds and Crash Bandicoots, and they say it might come to Xbox, but still hasn't. And nobody's talking about it, like, you know, and it's like it's on PlayStation. They played it, they gave it to their fans. Their fans are crying, hugging each other, doing all that stuff in the crowds. And then you go to the Xbox One, and it's like UWP, and people are like, yeah, like what? No, I don't want UWP.
Just throwing their hands out there, man. Every time PlayStation does something, they try to do it, and then they just realize, oh, it's not that hot. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I want games.
Cloud computing.
And when Phil came on, he said all about games. Like he's like, I'm gonna invest in our IPs. I'm gonna give us IPs. And instead, they shut down the studios. They haven't seen a Fable. We don't even know if a Fable even has existence. They have a tweet that says it's not dead. I'm like, that's supposed to make me happy. Where's your clip? Like, you know, Halo might be coming later. They can't do another season without Halo Gears. They can't.
They should have been investing.
Showed
Where's the
that.
Quantum Break sequel? It's 3 years now or 4 years.
Well,
Like Alex
cut ties with that
Correct.
developer. Like that's the thing. Like they're in the aspect, I think, of having the few tiers that they're going to have of Forza, Halo, and Gears, and they're going to outsource their IPs or their ideas to contracts like Sunset Overdrive, where Ted Bryce Kane gave him Sunset Overdrive. He no thank you for sequel, and now he's going to make Spider-Man. The studio's making Spider-Man. You don't think Sony's lining up Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3 for each?
The only win that they've had, in my opinion, as far as like gaming, is I think they got Ori and the Blind Forest 2, and then they also got the dude who did AM2R, another Metroid 2 remake, when that was really Nintendo's L. Like they got that guy who did that phenomenal fan remake.
That was the easiest win for Nintendo to ever take.
That was the
They
easiest win.
lost, and they didn't take it.
And according to Black Bond, he said that he likes AM2R better than Samus Returns.
Yeah,
which is crazy. It's like fuck. But let's try to
But
move
even
on.
the games they do have, like Ori, just like to say, like the Ori, they put them on everything. Then, like after it goes on Xbox, it went on their Windows Store, and then it goes on Steam. Like so, even the games they do have. The other aspect that's frustrating is that they give no reason for people to go buy an Xbox console. You can go buy a PC. You can go buy, you can go buy. You don't have to buy the console because they're putting everything elsewhere. And
let's try to move on to Sony though, because I know you love your Xbox, man, but let's try to give everybody, let's try to get all the console shine though. I want to know like what y'all think about the future of Sony now. We talk about the future of Nintendo. It looks like it'd be bright if they just keep on their path, follow their niche, and trying to get games on time. And Xbox, the fire, but they got to strengthen those hands. They can't just keep throwing them, And now let's talk about Sony. They're the strongest out of them. They're winning. I'm saying it right now. They're selling the most software, exclusive wise, and everything. They're doing wrong, but I want to see what y'all think, though. Let me ask y'all. So tell me what you think the future for Sony is now, and how they're doing so far.
The future for Sony?
Yeah, like how's it looking? Like
they're just gonna ride the wave.
Pretty much.
I agree. They're not changing anything.
I will be shocked if I feel like they may even play the same scenario where like the PS2 to PS3 happened for the PS4 to PS5. I feel like because they're winning, they may get lofty and they may do things that will not be in the best interest for the next generation.
Yeah, they might, but I can't see them actually changing anything. What the Switch and the PlayStation 4 have shown is that there is a need for a console experience and exclusive consoles, exclusive games, and console experiences. Like, because people before this generation were saying consoles are dead. They're like, it's all just PC. But
I was saying,
the Switch and the PlayStation 4 have proven, and the Xbox to some early on, but have shown that there's a console business. That's why I get frustrated when I see Microsoft just keep poking their heads in PC. I know they got a financial need over there, like they want to improve their Windows sales, but don't take Xbox along for the ride, please. I don't care. I don't want every decision to be based off of Windows updates. That's when I get an update for Xbox. I know they're tied in together, but now it's so apparent. It's annoying. And Sony has shown people just want a console. They just want games. And they want a next generation. They want to cut off, and the real question is does the PlayStation 5 play the PlayStation 4 games? And
the way I feel about
says
Sony,
no, that's not gonna be good.
Yeah, the way I feel about Sony for so far right now is like Alex said, they're getting complacent, and I think this is the perfect time for them to tighten up their hardware. They got the perfect way going. Like I was having a blast playing. I love Nier Automata, and that's on PC.
Yeah, it's just on sale. I picked it up. I got it on sale.
That's on PC. I loved Hellblade. That's on PC. They people say consoles are dying. Not necessarily, even though like they're making less money now, and like some sales are down. Like you check statistics and stuff, they're still doing pretty good. But it's mainly the people that are gaming fans jumping into it, because now we got mobile phones and stuff like that going into it. I think Sony needs to tighten up their went fucking Dutch on y'all. Toying. They can tighten up their software their names, and also as far as like the hardware side, put the PS Vita. Like I like how they got PS Plus and stuff and PlayStation Now, but why are they separate? Put those together. They're getting cocky raising the price of it. You're not showing no benefits. You're putting out weak games. The only benefit I can see to having a PS Plus account is if you have a PS3 and your PS4. I don't know if PS Plus still goes for the PSP. I don't know. But if you have it right there off the rip, you're getting way more content and games to play. Also,
yeah, now they're giving the VR games. That was the first last month.
Shit, they're giving VR games?
Yeah, they gave rigs this month.
Shit, maybe they have to just ride the damn wave, man.
No, they gave out rigs, the first VR game for PlayStation Plus this month, and the last few months has been incredible for PlayStation Plus. They've been giving out some real good games. They gave Infamous out and rigs, which I didn't play VR rigs because that got me sick. So they can give that for free. I don't care.
So pretty much, if you just wait, you could probably have like if you wait, like my friend, he has PlayStation since like at least the second year of it. So he pretty much has Infamous First Light, and he has Infamous Second Son. So he basically got the whole damn collection.
Yeah,
if you just try to be patient.
Yeah,
But,
and they've been doing pretty good on their things, and they still give, I think, PlayStation, like I think they give Vita games out, but then they sometimes also work on the PlayStation 4. They're definitely slowly backing away from the PlayStation 3. Like they dropped the PlayStation Now service, which they dropped that. That's on PC. I don't know if it's on Mac. But that's on PC and PlayStation 4, which is actually a pretty good service. I tried the trial. It's great for if you have family and you have kids and stuff like that, like because they could just play the 500 games in there. It's just like play and
pretty impressive.
It works pretty well. I tried the NVIDIA Shield service. Like I've done the Shield service on my NVIDIA Shield. That worked really well too. That was $7.99 a month. So the PlayStation Now service now with $100 for a year, it brings it around that price. But the great thing is you get all those PlayStation exclusive games that I missed on PlayStation 3, and you get like all the like Katamari Damacy, like all those games that
the classics.
Beyond Two Souls, all the God of Wars of Resistance, Fallen Man, and it works pretty well. Even though it's 720p streaming, it depends on your internet connection and stuff like that, but it actually
60
works
frames though, right?
I don't know.
I believe it's 60
whatever.
frames.
If a game ran at 60 frames, it runs.
I think it is. I believe it is. Like Alex, do you know for a fact? Because I could Google it.
The PlayStation.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Does PlayStation Now run at 60 frames?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I know it says 720. But I'll tell you one thing: the NVIDIA Shield service, the NVIDIA Shield streaming, that one does do 60 frames, 1080p.
But I do let you guys know, it's really late. I gotta get out to bed.
Oh yeah, we about to wrap it up, bro. We about to wrap it up.
All right. Well, I gotta get going. I'll see you guys later.
All right. Thank you once again, man. I appreciate you being a
man,
guest.
thanks for inviting me, man. I appreciate it.
All right, peace.
Later.
Okay. Pretty much the last topic. I think we already trashed Tomb Raider. That Tomb Raider shit looked garbage. So wait. One of our viewers, he wanted us to trash the 2K situation with the whole microtransaction shit. Like, what do you think about that?
Oh, what, the VC stuff?
The VC stuff.
Well, yeah, they've been doing that for a long time. Like, yeah, I thought they tried to balance it this year, but it was like if you pay enough to upgrade your guy. I think this year the thing that pissed off a lot of people was that your stats are capped based on your weight and your height. And I think that pissed off a lot of people that created guys, and that they're what happened was that they made them like a tall, like 6'1", and then certain stats were maxed out. You couldn't have like a 99 shot or something like that if you were like 6'8".
Like if you were 6'8", your speed could only go to like 70.
Yes, yeah.
Stuff
and people
like that.
bought all their VC and put it inside that stuff, and seeing that there's a cap.
I was like, man, and then it's just fucking crazy how games are getting out with the microtransactions. I'm like, I can't even support Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and I'm like fighting games like that. I really like fighting games.
It plays well, but it definitely is like, it looks like a budget title though. It doesn't, the gameplay doesn't look like a budget title, but like the menus and stuff look very budgety. But the fact that they announced the 4 characters, they're actually in the campaign, and you can't take any screenshots either when you're in the campaign, like with the share button.
See, it's that Scooby shit.
and they're in it. Like, like Black Panther, he's in the campaign, but you can't fight him or be him. And the fact that they're DLC guys, it's like they basically took 4 characters and put them on the side and said, you're going to pay for those, or 6 characters and said, you're going to pay for those.
And then Monster Hunter gets announced with a gameplay trailer and straight combo vids 2 days after the game. I'm like, wow, they really trying it. They want to see what anyone's going to say. Like, it's amazing.
I think the worst one is Shadow of War, the sequel to Shadow of Mordor. And I was reading an article today that they interviewed the developer, for the Shadow of War about this thing. And I think they've run into a problem when you have single player games that have microtransactions, because now that single player game has to be online, which is a problem for a lot of people, because it has to process these transactions. But the problem with the Shadow of War that I feel that with this microtransaction thing is that they are putting like things that were loot drops in the game, the first one, that you would get this character and then Nemesis, and he'll follow you around, and then you could kill him, and he'll give you a loot drop, and then you could apply that for your like better arrow or better archery. Yeah.
They're bad. So now it's fucking horrible.
Yeah. So now they basically are telling you, well, you could just open up a chest and get the loot. Like, you just basically telling me to bypass your whole Nemesis 2 system. Like, I don't even have to have a rivalry with anybody.
You play Metal Gear Solid 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. It's like, it's a really cool system. It's like, man, it's so awesome. And then I remember thinking, like, yo, they could easily exploit this. Like, it feels like it, because it's almost like, gotta catch them all, sneaky stealth killer soldier. And I'm just like, oh boy. But
yeah. And what's funny too, and one other thing I'll tell you about that article that I read, is the funny thing is that they're like, well, we balanced the whole game out. Like, we didn't have any microtransactions in there when we tested it, just so we could, just to make sure the game is balanced, because we're not going to force you to buy this stuff, like make like a brick wall where you have to buy it to pay to win. But what's funny is that I bet you, and I think they're doing the same thing for Sea of Thieves, that Xbox game, that beta, because you can't talk about it, right? And my speculation, this is just my idea. I'm going to tell us on the Kids Food podcast tomorrow, but I think that playing Xbox, but I'm going to tell you, like, I think what they're going to do is they're monitoring the tendencies of the gamer to know what they can monetize. That's what I think these beta tests are for in some of these games, that they want to see what your player tendencies are, because they can monitor all that stuff. They could say, hey, are you on the boat all the time? Are you really trying to? Are you on that? Exactly. They're watching everything. And I think they're going to say, like, okay, well, we have these ideas, but what can we put these things on to see how to monetize this game? Because that game is a game with a service. They basically said that. Phil Spencer said that.
Yeah.
But you have the Shadow War.
And
the Shadow War, I'm sure they're playtesting and they're looking and making and seeing, oh, wow, I see a lot of the game guys have a trouble with this character over here. Well, maybe we could have a loot drop over here, or pay for this loot drop, and they could do it. So I do think they monitor player tendencies to see where the microtransactions would be the best, because you don't want to waste microtransactions on something that you got to make them buy it,
Yeah. Pretty much, I'm just like looking at gaming right now for what my homie was telling me about his whole dealing with customer service with the whole 2K situation. People are putting their money into this shit, and they're being basically kicked in the teeth, but it's like battered wife syndrome. It's like, well, I guess it's just how it is. And it's kind of like, I forget, I'm 27 years old, and I forget 10 years ago, the last generation was going full force. Like, it just started with 360 and everything. Just now realizing I'm fully thinking about gaming, and they're like, all they know is the HD era. This whole like horse armor shit. It all started with horse armor.
And all DLC. Like, people are like, well, why can't I get all my content and then just buy a game and have all my content? Why do I got to pay for extra content? Now it's like you're getting a game, and there are things that you got to buy. And I never buy really microtransactions in any of those games. Like, I just I don't. Yeah, but the people do play like 1 or 2 games a year, and those are the people that sustain that economy. Like, basically, like the person who, like, they don't need a 1 million. How many copies of NBA 2K they sold? They do not need.
Pretty sure it's gonna be 12 million by the next
all
year.
those people to be buying VC. They got maybe a quarter of that, and those people are just like banking it. I can tell you with the Halo 5, they have made so much money on those loot boxes in Halo 5 that
I'm laughing at dudes that say that pays for the tournaments. It's like, so what you're telling me, they don't have enough money to pay for the tournament that is gonna win somebody else money. They're too cheap to give the person money, so you got to pay for it yourself.
Well, they try to make it like, if you want to support the community, like they're trying everything they can. The games cost so much money nowadays, and that's why I feel that this whole indie embrace and this being indies and trying to give the tools of development, making it easier and getting that breakout like a PUBG or getting that breakout like what Rocket League was. That's where the money is. Like that's where get those games at a low development cost with high return.
And here's the funny part about that whole AAA thing. I was watching Jim Sterling, and like you do your research, you look around and stuff. The main people that were complaining generation, which like 10 years ago, back in 2006, 2007, that was when we first started doing HD gaming, because it was actually meant something. Like we were actually stepping our game as far as assets, resources, and what kind of production and presentation we're bringing. But this is nothing. This generation, I like it. It's got some of the best games I've enjoyed. Sort of near.
Did you play a lot last generation though? Did you do a lot last generation? Not really. Like 360, PlayStation 3.
Oh, I played a lot of 360 and PS3. I love that last generation too, because it really stepped the game up. Yeah. But this generation's like, I'm not saying it's bad, because I love The Witcher 3 and all that.
It's been a lot of a remaster of the previous generation.
Yeah, but it's been a lot of remasters, and it's just and everyone are gonna make that major jump, like from 540 and 480p to 720 and 1080p. But it's still more the same. It's just now we're making the textures look more quality and stuff. And this generation doesn't warrant for people to say, "Oh, this gaming's too expensive." Like, look at Hellblade. That game looks gorgeous.
Yeah,
and that's
I know.
It's basically them independently done. So is The Witcher 3.
That game gives the justification of where the focus of this industry is gone. I think that they're at the point now of diminishing returns of resolution and just graphic things. Like, you could use what it is to create new experiences. Like, I can't believe that this generation has really abandoned online features. Like, I feel like I thought we were going to be having a lot more online type of cool modes. Like, even when Evolve came out, when it was 5-on-1, I'm like, oh, that's neat. It's something they're trying something different. Cool. Yeah, it's a cool concept.
Too much of that crazy online shit. Too much of that microtransactions.
Well, that is another game that got destroyed with microtransactions. But like, there's hero shooters where you're gonna buy a hero and stuff like that. Then they realize, like, hey, let's just give them all the heroes, like Overwatch, and let them buy costumes for them, or buy money for the loot boxes to get the costumes for them, which is even worse. It's all gambling. Like, that's what you're doing now. Like, now you're paying money just to get a box. You don't even know what the hell you're getting anymore. It's like card packs. Basically, you open up a card pack, see, I got that guy already. I got this. That's the whole thing. So now you're gambling now.
I will say the good thing is, though, like, at least the Overwatch devs, they're kind of honest dudes. And, I feel like this is a genuine game that I can see.
They could walk on water, those guys. They could have made like $120 and people would have bought it.
Yeah, people would have bought it. But Jim Sterling brought up some issues you had, because he made the video talking about their whole microtransaction system. He didn't like it, thought it was gambling. And they heard him out, and they actually adjusted it. He plays Overwatch almost religiously. And he said they actually adjusted their RNG system of how you win things. You win things more often now. Like, they're doing it more on the positive side, and they're trying to change the community. Even though it had a questionable launch, I think we're just I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but we should always look at things jaded from a side angle view. But it's good to know that devs like Overwatch, they're fixing their shit if it's a little shaky. And devs and publishers like, Square Enix with the whole Deus Ex thing, they're in their shit. They stopped doing funny shit. So don't say nothing or make fun of people like me and you that question this whole industry's business practices. It's just very strange.
And the thing is too is that they'll like wait for community feedback, and I always feel like they're like, hey, let's put it in there, let's get a couple of people up front, they're going to be paying for it, and then if the complaint gets loud enough, we'll fix it. But hey, they just made money on the people that just like ate it. Like, like your friend you said is like, hey, I'm just going to pay it, they got me this time. So they made their money, and they're like, okay, now it's not, people are complaining about it, and now we look like the hero because we'll take back feedback.
And they don't even
But-
say nothing. We don't get the credit. It's hilarious. That's the reason I started this podcast. I was gonna do another segment, but I think everyone's kind of drifted off.
Where was that guy that was customer service? I wanted to hear a story. You left.
No, he doesn't like doing podcast stuff. Plus, he doesn't want his whole, because it's his job, so he doesn't want his whole identity to be out there and stuff.
What is? I want to know his perspective of like what he's hearing.
Yeah,
customer service.
He pretty much tells me he's my best friend. We talk on the phone all the time. He does like customer service with Microsoft, so he doesn't like want to have his identity out there. In case anything goes left.
I tell you though, they're great. They have always been good. Like customer service, customer service on Microsoft have always been great. They've been nice people and stuff. Every time I talk to them, I got some games refunded.
Yeah, you might have dealt with him because he said he almost got in trouble because he'll try to sneak and tell you, hey, maybe you should do this, and that way you could possibly, give me a good customer service review, and you might be able to get this free PlayStation 5. So he's real cool about that. So he understands the plight of the gamer and shit now because he finally figured out what I'm ranting and going nuts about. Fucking for this podcast, looking at shit, but
it's tough. Like definitely, they're definitely still trying to feel like. I have a friend that was a game developer, and we used to go to to PAX East, and he just saying that they're always trying to look to see how to extend the life of a game and to monetize it, like in the mobile aspect. And mobile has started a lot of it, and a lot of these microtransactions come from the mobile. Your Candy Crushes and all that other stuff. It comes from that mobile model.
And Team Fortress and Counter-Strike.
Well, yeah, exactly. And it's just
years. That's crazy.
It is what it is. Like, that's going to be gaming. That's why a lot of this stuff. Look what and I don't want to keep dragging this on, but look even what EA did last year. Remember with the whole like Game Pass, like online pass, last gen.
That shit. That shit. Fuck that. I'm glad.
Remember that? Yeah, and you bought the game used, but you had to buy a $10 thing to play online to activate the online features and stuff like that.
Yes.
So and that they dropped that. So even these microtransactions, I think it's just a segue into what the Game Pass is, what PlayStation Now is. That's where they all want to go. Yeah. And until you get a brand new release that's part of a subscription, and Phil, in his thing, already alluded to that. Like you might see games in Game Pass that are brand new or that service that model. That's where they want to go because they got your money already. That's a subscription, dependable, $10 a month, $15 a month, and until retail goes away. And I think that's the biggest thing. Until retail goes away, like Toys R Us already went to bankruptcy, and
Toys R Us.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh crap. But until retail goes away, and they don't need retail to sell, just the hardware. They still need to satisfy the retail with their discs and just the same old stuff.
Pretty much
until that goes away.
And R&D,
yeah.
Fucking not R&D, fucking AMD. They got their deals with those guys. It's good to have your hand in everybody's pocket.
They need it.
Look at Sony with Square Enix because Sony's the own stock in Square Enix, and when Square Enix was going that whole trouble phase, and they were like, oh, we gotta sell this much copies. We only sold 5 million copies of Tomb Raider.
Yes, it was a failure. Yeah, I was like, it's a failure.
And then Sony sold the stock they had in them to help them get money back because I think Sony had owned stock in Square Enix, which explains why they were cool with them going back 20 years ago and why they stuck with PlayStation for the longest with exclusives.
Those Japanese companies, man, they stick together. And the thing is that they because PlayStation has tons of exclusives just because of Japanese studios. Like, they just don't want to bring it to the West, so they don't think there's a market there.
And they don't burn their bridges like Nintendo.
No.
I can name you 2 companies they almost bankrupted.
Yeah. Well, Nintendo is just, they have enough money. They have the exclusives. That's the thing. And that's why Sony right now is in a great position, which they're going to drop their God of War, their Last of Us 2, and Microsoft right now is sort of in this limbo state. And my problem with it is that they are now making decisions for the greater good. They have transcended Xbox, and I feel like this journey of the last 2 years has really diluted what Xbox meant to be, what Xbox was. Not that I want to be a crazy gamer where I'm just going to play my games and I got my Xbox exclusives, but the games that they sought out even early in this gen, like Titanfall, and they get the games that they address their core audience. That's what Nintendo's doing. They give it, like everybody sits back and go, "Who the hell wants Mario? I'm a grown ass man. I don't be playing no cartoon guy in those cartoon games. I don't want to do that shit." But you want to know what? That's what their audience wants.
I like
When
Mario.
You buy a
I like
Nintendo
Mario.
product,
So
you want
I
a
ain't gonna hate on
Mario.
it. I ain't gonna hate on it. But yeah, I'm going to wrap it up though.
All right, man.
Yeah, we had a pretty good show, man.
Everybody dropped.
Yeah, everyone's dropping the fuck to sleep. That's like, see, that's what y'all want. Y'all want the show later. I mean, that's what happens, bro. Y'all can't be like me and be.
Well, it was great. It was great being on here, yeah. And I'll probably be on either. That thing is tomorrow, 8:00 at and in the title, I'm Jez7780 on Twitter.
Your own podcast, or are you a Kids Moves main guy?
I'm on Kid Smooth Planet Xbox podcast.
Okay, so you're a main member now.
Yeah, because it's him and Dealer, and then I'm on there, and then I think there's another. I think there's I forgot the other guy's name on there. But yeah, I've been on there for the last 3 or 4 episodes. But yeah, I'm routinely on there.
Okay, cool. Okay. Well,
that's
good,
on Tuesday
man.
at 8:00.
Damn, Lady in Red that dropped out. She dead.
That's Tuesday 7:30. Sorry.
Tuesday 7:30. All right, y'all check out Planet Xbox podcast. If you're listening to this on your dinner, making dinner, or driving your car, hopefully we kept you awake. We kept you some good conversations, educated you about gaming and all this other great shit, and the wrestling and all this other cool stuff we talked about. And Hardhead, you're the last one left, last man standing. You got anything to say, bro? Me, Hardhead. Check out my live streams. I'm the 7th level warden. Thank you, Hardhead. I really appreciate you, brother. You're the man. All right, Jez, anything else, man? Before I do my outro?
No, man, I'm good.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is WizFiasCole, aka Wiz, aka Wizard. Why? Because you cannot fathom the wizardry. And thank you for choosing Lifetime Podcast for your entertainment. And I'm gone.